It's June 30th, and we have another Supreme Court case decision. People are celebrating, and it is good that the Supreme Court upheld the Constitution, where if you're born in the U.S., other than, unless your parents are a diplomat from another country or whatever, you are a citizen, birthright citizenship. And that's good, but this comes in the same week where all the Supreme Court cases of the year are coming out. So yes, a couple days ago, they also ruled that Trump can fire anybody he wants, even heads of departments like nuclear safety, anything, the Fed, they might be carving out an exception for the Fed because they don't want their, to lose their money, but any other department, and possibly the Fed, I will look it up and put in the notes, I guess. Trump can fire whoever he wants, even if they have a 6-year term or whatever. So that's bad. They've also, then they put in, they were never gonna rule against birthright citizenship. That would have caused too much of a mess for the hospitals. They just weren't gonna do it. Also, the other day, we already talked about yesterday they upheld, the postmark on the day of election to count those mail ballots. But I was reminding people that Trump's Postmaster General also changed it. So a lot of things do not get postmarked on the day they arrive. So that's something to keep in mind. They will keep giving decent rulings, or at least ones that they can't, really, either they can't get away with it, like the birthright citizenship would have just caused too much of a mess, or something that's easy that doesn't, bother them too much, like the mail-in ballots. Because then when they get something they want to do, the corrupt ones, the 5-4 of the majority, when they want to really concentrate the power for Trump, like they've been ever since the immunity decision they gave him, making him the only president in history that got immunity. I guess Joe Biden would also have, because he was in office at the time and they just said president, but I believe if he would have tried to use it, they would have changed it. And Joe Biden would not have tried to do that because he was an honest president. So the Supreme Court is giving Trump all the power that matters, like allowing him to fire anyone he wants, allowing him to take bribes. They even had made a decision last year or so, I think it was, where they can take bribes. Another decision they did this week was that there are no limits on what any party can put toward a candidate. So they can, so their buddies can buy elections. I just would remind people or advise people to be glad that they, couldn't find a way to make, getting rid of birthright citizenship work without being a total mess. And also, they're given things like, a good example is 10 years ago, I think I brought it up the other day, or 15 years ago, when they made it the law of the land for marriage equality, but then the next day they got rid of half the Voting Rights Act, which they finished off then this year. So the ones, when you can't vote, you lose all your rights, even the ones that they gave you. I mean, you can lose any right. So our job Trump is still consolidating ungodly amounts of power and riding his way to being Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un in spite of these little victories. And if they succeed in stealing the midterms, it's going to be a whole new even ballgame from that. But right now we have to make sure we don't let them steal the midterms, and also we can't let up on anything just because we get a couple small victories here and there. I mean, the court still needs to be reformed after we get Trump out of there, but there's no guarantee that Trump's going to get out of there if people don't insist on it. and realize that getting Trump out of there, not allowing Trump to finish his term, is a big deal, even if J.D. Vance finishes the term, because Donald Trump is doing things that J.D. Vance would not get away with or would not be able to do. My first ever video talks about that. So while we celebrate the fact that the Supreme Court couldn't figure out how to get rid of birthright citizenship, please pay attention to all their decisions that they've made and how much of a disaster it is that Donald Trump can just fire whoever he wants and put in whatever son-in-law he wants. The Secretary of State, confirmed by the Senate, is not even he's not even going to the international meetings. Trump's son-in-law, and he brought his second son-in-law, Tiffany's husband, in now with Jared Kushner and his other son-in-law, and then this golf buddy Witkoff are doing the negotiations with other countries. Like, this is total corruption. Trump's raking in billions. Don't let any Supreme Court decision that is not completely terrible let you think this is not a more serious situation in spite of that every single day. And do not let it give you a false sense of security. Thanks.